Hello again, first graders. We're going to finish the books, The Legend of Spookly the Square Pumpkin today. So I want you to think back about what happened yesterday in our book. At first, all the other pumpkins were making fun of Spookly because he was square and they were all round. But then a big storm came through and they realized that it might be better to be round or square sometimes, didn't they? And at the very end of the book, the gate, the fence, it broke and three pumpkins rolled out into the bay. So let's see what's going to happen today. Yesterday, you were supposed to make a prediction about what you thought was going to happen today. So I want you to think of that prediction. And if you forgot to make one, I want you to pause the video and make one really quick right now. Let's read. Spookly knew what must be done. It was up to him. He was the one. He teetered, he tottered, he tipped, he tried. He finally flipped. He was on his side. What do you think he's going to do? Why do you think he's teetering and tottering, trying to get on his side? What do you think is going to happen? Again he tipped, again he flopped, again he flipped, and then, let's see. Where is he? It looks like that might be where the gate broke and he's blocking it. So what do you think is going to happen? He stopped right in the gap where the fence had snapped. He blocked the way the hole was capped. All the pumpkins shouted, "Hooray!" Spookly the Square Pumpkin had saved the day. Then a pumpkin hit him with a whack. He thought his shell would start to crack. Then another one hit him with a thump, and another one with a smack. Oh no, they're all hitting him. Then one by one, a ton of pumpkins piled on the stack, with a bang and a bash and a crunch and a crash, and then it all went black. Oh no, what's happening? What is happening? Look at Spookly all the way at the bottom. All these pumpkins are squishing him. At dawn, when the storm had stopped, the farmer came out and checked his crop. He picked his pumpkins up one by one and laid them out in the warm, dry sun. And when the last was moved away, the farmer could see what had saved the day. An odd-shaped pumpkin, short and dense, was wedged against the broken fence. Spookly saved all of those pumpkins. Its shell was bruised, its stem was too, but there was brave little Spookly sitting straight and strong and true. Right then and there, the farmer knew of all the seeds he'd ever sown, Spookly's were the most special that he had ever grown. And the next year, when it was time to sow, he sowed those seeds in every row. He watered and weeded and watched them grow. And oh, that morning about mid-June, when the pumpkin patch began to bloom, there were tiny pumpkins everywhere, hundreds and hundreds, most of them square. Look at all those square pumpkins. But what do you think's going to happen? Some were cubes and some rectangular. Some were flat and others triangular. Look at all those pumpkins. They're all unique and so different. How cool is that? There was a bed of bright red ones and 2 rows of blue. There were polka dot pumpkins and rainbow ones too. There were thousands of colors and hundreds of shapes. Oh, what a garden variety makes! Now every year on Halloween, Spookly's patch is quite a scene. People come from far and near to see what wonders grew that year. They stop, they gawk, they gaze, they stare. Then they pick a pumpkin that's round, triangular, or perfectly square. Now you know the story of how Spookly grew. Maybe someday you'll tell someone too, and they'll go tell someone who will go tell another. And maybe one day we will all discover you can't judge a book or a pumpkin by its cover. How cool is that, y'all? That was such a fun book. It's okay to be different. Um, so was your prediction correct? What did you guys predict? Some of you predicted correctly, and some of you might have had to fix your prediction, and that's okay. Awesome job. Now I have one more thing I want you to do. I want you to turn to whoever you're working with. I want you to tell them. I want you to make a connection. I want you to make a text-to-text connection. So a text-to-text connection is, did this book remind you of another book that you might have read or heard one day? Or if you can't think of that, I want you to try to make a text-to-self connection. Did this book remind you of something that happened in your life? I made a text-to-self connection because the book, when all of the kids were going and picking out pumpkins, I do that every year with my family. So that made this book reminded me of when I go to the pumpkin patch and pick out pumpkins with my family. Great job, boys and girls.